It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV. Welcome, friends and neighbors. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you for joining us as we kick off a new week in Greater West Bloomfield. And of course, this week we will be celebrating Veterans Day. Veterans Day coming up on Tuesday of this week, but in Greater West Bloomfield, it's become a tradition to take a little bit of a head start, celebrating with the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast, which was broadcast late last week on Civic Center TV. Assistant Fire Chief Mark Lowry, a veteran himself, spoke at the event, serving as the MC and thanking those that served just as he did in our armed forces, not only for their service, but also for the moments that they endured for our freedom.
This is hard because I have plenty of stories that I don't share either. But I'd like to recognize that each of you have stories that you don't share. And I would like to look each of you in the eye and say thank you for living those stories that you don't share. Because you lived them, you allow us the privilege to live under the stars and stripes.
The keynote speaker, in addition to the MC Mark Lowry, was Brigadier General Scott L. Myers from the Michigan National Guard, who saluted servicemen and women in and beyond the armed forces, commending all who give back to their community with great risk.
You still have individuals within our communities willing to put up their right hand and do something bigger than themselves. And it's not just soldiers, it's not just airmen or Marines. Where are my police at? I know the police were in the house. Every day they're putting their life on the line for us. Where are our firemen at? There's others in the community that put service before self. But those here today, the veterans that are here today, a special thank you, because when I look at your faces, I see my brothers who I've served with. Some of them might look a little bit younger than you do, but I just love looking at the youth that are signing up and carrying on that torch.
So today we celebrate. Memorial Day, of course, is when we have all the big parades, and it's the unofficial start to the summer, and people get together, they have the day off, they have a long weekend, whatever that may be. But that's not what the purpose of that day is for. That day is for remembering those who have sacrificed with their life for our freedom. Today's purpose is a celebration. This week's purpose is a celebration on Tuesday for Veterans Day, thanking veterans for what they have sacrificed for us and celebrating what that means for you, and also being willing to serve your community as best as you can in the process as well. That's what our community's annual Heroes Appreciation Breakfast was all about, giving back to those that gave the most for our nation. A thank you extended by Assistant Fire Chief Mark Lowry to kick off that special day.
I'd like to thank the veterans who showed up here today. I'm a veteran myself, and I understand that there are a very small percentage of our population that does what you have done. This is a very full room this morning, and it's great that we have a wonderful turnout, but you represent a very small portion who provides the liberties and freedoms that the rest of us enjoy. So thank you for coming and allowing us to serve you today.
Very important words from the Assistant Fire Chief Mark Lowry, an Armed Forces veteran himself, from the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast, which happened last week right here in West Bloomfield. It was a fantastic event, nearly 200 veterans on site with members of their family to take in that celebration, to be served by our community, to be celebrated by our community. You can continue that celebration yourself if you haven't had a chance. Visit civiccentertv.com/heroes25, civiccentertv.com/heroes25 to watch the full Heroes Appreciation Breakfast. And of course, as you're out and about this week, especially on Veterans Day proper on Tuesday, make sure you thank a veteran for their service and for the freedoms that means for you each and every day here in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond. Just a short jump down the road from our studio on Walnut Lake Road, the Chaldean Community Foundation has opened a brand new hub for community and activity in Greater West Bloomfield, bringing a brand new community center to West Bloomfield Township. Civic Center TV reporter Jake Schaff has more.
Outside of Iraq, Michigan is home to the largest Chaldean population in the world. And just recently, a brand new cultural center right here in Greater West Bloomfield opened up for the Chaldean community to embrace and celebrate their culture. With several different amenities for the entire community, there is something for everybody here with this building and provides such a powerful connection to everyone who is proud to be a Chaldean. What has been your favorite thing to see here tonight from all the incredible amenities that are available?
So my favorite thing to see is by far the library, Bishop Brahimi Library. The manuscripts, I love history, so just to see like 1,000-year-old manuscripts, that's our roots, and seeing that it's been digitized and all that they've done to preserve and keep those records and to make them accessible to future generations to come. It's really a beautiful thing.
Beautiful place, #1 community center I've seen in America. It's a full-service building, from studios to libraries, offices, Chaldean support, chamber, foundation, and the church is involved as well too. So you have priests that are active coming in and out every day.
It's really a dream come true for many people in the Chaldean community. We've been trying to figure out how can we best preserve our culture, our heritage, our identity, and this is a culmination. I mean, we've been looking at this building for more than 10 years, believe it or not, and by the grace of God, we're able to buy it about a year ago and really accelerated the renovation, and are very happy to now share this with the general community. We have a cooking demonstration kitchen, podcast studios, television studio, business incubator, a theater. These are just some of the wonderful variety of options that we have at this new center.
It's absolutely phenomenal. It's our West Campus. As you know, we've been around for almost 24 years. This is a tremendous achievement to be in this phenomenal town. We're in one of the richest communities in the state of Michigan. And it's a great honor to be here, and it's a great honor to serve our 500,000 Chaldean residents all across the United States of America. So that's what this organization is going to do here in West Bloomfield. We've got the library. We're going to have our National Museum here, and most of all, we're going to be serving our Chaldean community that's needy, that needs help. And we're not just open to Chaldeans; we're open to everybody, of course. So we're very proud of that.
Do nights like these make you proud to be Chaldean?
Yeah, I think this is what we're trying to do is create facilities that will serve generations to come. And so that more and more people will use this facility, Chaldean or not, to the greater benefit. It's educational, it's cultural, and it's meaningful. Those are very important.
The biggest thing that I want people to take away is that they need to learn to give back. That's one of the things that we're very proud of with our Jewish brothers and sisters is they're really, really good at giving back, and we want to teach our Chaldean community to do the same thing, to give back. We've raised over $15 million, and we hope to continue that. So that's the greatest achievement would be if our people learn to give back to the community.
With such a vast collection of knowledge and entertainment, there is something for everyone to enjoy with the new Chaldean Cultural Center, and it's clear just how much of an impact it's going to have on the community for many years to come. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
You can find more info on the Chaldean Community Center on chaldeanfoundation.org, or watch Jake Schaff's recent interview with Farah Shamami from the Chaldean Foundation about one of their new initiatives that's taking place right here in West Bloomfield at their new community center, helping to teach a new generation the Chaldean language, a classic language that's been starting to fall away a little bit, and they're bringing it back right here close to home in our community. You can explore how they're doing that within the Chaldean community and the greater community, inviting a little bit of everybody in to learn this language. CivicCenterTV.com. Click on our on-demand page, and it'll be right under the Splash Live interviews section on that page, CivicCenterTV.com. Or see clips of that by following us on social media, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, everywhere else, YouTube, Instagram, and X at Civic Center TV. All of your favorites from the West Bloomfield Township Public Library are now at the tip of your finger, as the library has recently announced that it's launching its very own app, putting it on your cell phone, on your tablet, and other devices, as they have announced their very own official app now available on Apple, Android, and other devices. I spoke to Library Digital Services aide Robbie Pluta to learn more about this new innovation. Robbie, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you on, as this is a big step for the West Bloomfield Library and many different organizations in our community here in Greater West Bloomfield, and those across communities in southeastern Michigan and other places all around the world are now shifting to this sort of a format where they're taking their resources and they're putting them on an app to provide that extra level of convenience. For the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, what was the main motivation behind taking all these resources that are, of course, in person at your 2 branches and, of course, on your website, now to being in a digital app?
I think you described it there perfectly, in that there was already kind of a need, and we're seeing trends of other institutions and particularly other libraries creating their own apps and digital interfaces for patrons to get these resources on their phones. So I think it was already kind of a trend we saw emerging, and I would get plenty of questions of people asking, do you guys have an app, or can we link my accounts with my kids? So we saw the need was there already.
And so how does the app then enhance the experience that people would have when they go to these 2 branches or when they visit on your still very new and renovated website?
Well, I'm never going to discourage anyone from visiting the library in person because there's so much to see there.
Neither will we.
But I will say that the app works to really consolidate a lot of the key features and key questions that patrons and visitors might have. What are our hours? Can I search for this book? Is there an event going on right now? Is my book ready to be picked up? So it really consolidates it all in one easy place that patrons have access to.
And there's so many resources at the library, Robbie, and so many people love to use the West Acres branch and the main branch to pick up some of those good reads that they want to find, that maybe they don't want to go out to the bookstore and buy another copy of it when it's already available right here in our community. They get their library card. They just want to go there for specific resources. But with all of that being available and so many people having such an affinity for the West Bloomfield Library, there is a little bit of competition there, but this app provides a little bit of help if people want to reserve some of those resources in advance before they head out to one of their branches.
Exactly, yeah. So being able to look in advance before you even visit the library, do you have this book? Is there something going on right now? Being able to carry your barcode with you is something that I know a lot of people were looking for. I would see people constantly trying to shuffle, find which wallet, find which string of the keychain it's on. So being able to know where it is instantly with just a tap of your finger was a convenience a lot of our patrons were already looking for.
Joining us on the Splash Live is Robbie Pluta from the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, one of their library digital services aides on today's edition of the program. You can learn more about the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, including their brand new app. Visit them on their website, wblib.org, or follow them on Facebook and Instagram at West Bloom LIB. Robbie, what feedback have you received so far from people that have been asking, hey, do you guys have an app? Do you have an app? And now you do. It's available for people to use. What so far has been the response from the community?
I think overwhelmingly it's been pretty positive from all the patrons that I've spoken to. I would say our barcode feature is one that is a real standout for people, as I mentioned, being able to know where that is instantly, so you don't have to like shuffle through your belongings to find it. I would say as well the ability to link other people's accounts in your family or in your household. So if your spouse puts a book on hold and you're running to the library and you're already there, you can check it out for them instead of calling them, getting their library card, waiting for them to come in. I think a lot of people are also eager to see how we integrate in the future with other digital resources we have, like our ebook, e-audiobook software cloud library. So you can still access all that material through the app. It's just on another tab that says ebooks and e-audio. So you can still get that all for free with your library card. It's just like a separate press there that I think people are excited to see.
Now, this is all very exciting, and people love having an app for their local library, especially here in Greater West Bloomfield, where the township and our Tri-Cities love and adore their local library. But not everybody's very tech savvy. They have this idea of, okay, first it was I go to the library to find all these resources. Then I got to learn the website. Now I got to learn an app as well. For those that maybe aren't so tech savvy, how easy is this app to use and to learn?
I think it's particularly easy to use. I think all of our features are labeled very well and in very like big text so people can see like what exactly am I looking for. There's no menus to navigate through. It's all just through the press of a button that you can get to things. And anything that you would need help looking for, all of our librarians at either West Acres or at Maine are happy and eager to help you out. So I would definitely encourage people, ask at the desk, ask your librarian how you can download the app, how to navigate through it. We're excited to see people embracing this and using it.
This is kind of the way that libraries are going to be operating going forward, Robbie. They got to find new ways to engage local audiences to come into their facility, to engage with their resources. And people want to find those at the same convenience that they would be shopping online for something or researching for a fun event in their community. They're going to do that on the go. They're going to do that on their phones. So how does this help fit into the library's broader digital imagination for the future, and how that factors into the continuity of this beloved resource in our community?
I think you laid it out there perfectly in that so much of our lives now have become digitized. Your healthcare is online, your schooling's online, looking for a job is pretty much all online right now. So digital literacy is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. So anything the library can do to help our patrons feel more comfortable in this world is something that we feel obligated to do. We always want to increase people's access and their knowledge in any way we can. And so if this app helps people get more comfortable using other digital resources, that's a step that we want to take. And we've also taken further steps to increase our offerings for technology tutoring and for digital classes at the library. I just taught one the other day about people migrating to Windows 11. So we understand there's a lot of features out there that people are still learning to use and adapting to use, and we want to help facilitate that transition for our patrons.
I'm glad you brought that up too. Robbie Pluta, Digital Services Library Aide with the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, is with us on the Splash Live as the West Bloomfield Library has launched its official app. It's available on both Android and Apple app stores and is available for free. All you got to do is log in with your library information to access all of those resources and connect it to your library information so that when you go to the main branch or the West Acres branch, there it is, all right there for you. But as we discussed and you just brought up, there are also those resources, and that's a big part of what you do at the library to help those that maybe aren't caught up with the times and the digital technology to bridge some of those gaps too. So how does that also factor in now as the library moves toward more of these digital resources being available and it being more critical to people being able to continue to have that ease of access to these resources they've become so accustomed to?
Yeah, so we've been noticing, especially in our trends, that our checkout numbers for digital materials are just going through the roof. It's easily the most in-demand service that we offer now. And so we wanted to use this app as an opportunity to showcase a lot more of that too. So you can link directly into our primary app that we get ebooks and e-audiobooks through called Cloud Library. All you need is your library card and you get access to many, many titles for free. I constantly have people, when I show them this, they like, so this is all for free? And I'm like, yes, anything you can get through your local library is for free. And in addition to that, we have language learning services through our app, Mango Languages. You have access to many different investment strategies as well through our online resources. You can access Ancestry in person in the library if you're doing family genealogical research. The sky's the limit, basically.
And it's all accessible to you with your mobile devices. Android App Store, Apple App Store. The West Bloomfield Township Library now has its very own official app. You can learn more about it on their Facebook page at West Bloom LIB or on WBLIB.org. Robbie, as we conclude today, what maybe are some other new innovations from the digital technology side that the library is now starting to implement or maybe having on the docket in the near future?
Ooh, well, I can't speak too much. Don't want to give too much away, but One thing that I can say is that I believe in January we are starting a open hours resume workshop that I will be assisting with. So I know in particular a lot of people come to the library with questions about how to set up their resume, what are people looking for, how to fill out the online applications that like LinkedIn, Indeed are all using now. So we're going to be doing like an open office hours style resume assistance starting in January. So people should keep an eye out for that.
Well, that, folks, is what we in the television business call a teaser. That means we're just going to have Robbie and others from the library have to join us on The Splash that much more often as we get into the coming months and start the new year in 2026. Robbie, thank you as always for your time.
Very appreciated. Thank you for having me.
You can find more information on the West Bloomfield Library's brand new app on their website, wblib.org, on Facebook and Instagram at West Bloom LIB, or stop by one of the circulation desks at either the West Acres or the main branch and ask them about their app. Or, hey, maybe you want to do the research yourself. You're pretty tech savvy. You just want to get this app and get going with your favorite books and other materials from the library. Search West Bloomfield Library app on the Apple App Store, on the Android App Store, Google Play, and more to find this brand new app and connect anywhere with the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. As the air cools and Greater West Bloomfield heads indoors, we look for those close comforts that remind us of warmth and of home. And few things hit like a hot cup of tea on a cold day and a hint of sweet, tasty honey, especially when it has been sourced right here close to home in West Bloomfield. Bees in the D features hives all throughout the Metro Detroit area, including right here in our community. And soon they will be hosting an event where locally sourced honey will be in focus. Here to tell us more is the founder of Bees in the D, Brian Peterson Roast. Brian, thanks for joining us today.
Always great to be there, Tyler.
Happy to have you on. You have hives throughout the Metro Detroit area, as I mentioned, including some here in West Bloomfield Township. You partner with West Bloomfield Parks in part for that and for this upcoming event where people will be able to taste some of this honey. Tell us a little bit about your upcoming Honey Sommelier event that's coming back in 2025.
Yeah, so it's a very unique event. Yes, it is a honey sommelier event. It is there in West Bloomfield. It's at the Marshbank Park this Saturday, the 15th at 6 p.m. And we are sharing that there is a story behind every drop of honey. And we have taken a training to help train others of how they can taste and smell and use their senses to learn the different qualities of honey.
And people don't think of honey like that, where you'd have a sommelier or there's some sort of art to the different kinds of honey that are out there, especially those that come from our local hives. But there is a certain character to honey that you find all throughout Metro Detroit, whether it's in the city proper, out locally this way. Even something that close together can have its own sort of profile. So how do you highlight that to people that maybe are novices in that area?
So we are going to definitely have some local honey that you will get to sample. You will get to taste the flavor notes, the smell the notes. But we also use some monofloral honeys that are actually from Italy. They have a wider variety of monofloral honeys that allow us to really point out the different notes to look for, the different aroma, the different color even, or even texture of honey, because it is unique depending on what plants those bees go to. And so it's fun for us to use some monofloral ones from Italy, but to also bring in the honey right there from West Bloomfield.
Well, we just got past the Halloween season, so fright is still kind of on everybody's mind, but maybe the scariness behind the honeybee has been reduced in recent years as there's been more advocacy for bees, not only in Greater West Bloomfield and throughout Metro Detroit, but really around the globe as we consider their environmental impact. Does something like this help to maybe take care of some of the myths that might be out there about dangers, so to speak, about honeybees?
Yeah, definitely. That's an important part of our mission, that we are also advocating for the bees, being a voice for the bees, because a lot of times we tend to just focus on the fact that bees do have a stinger. They are able to sting, but there's a lot of other relative insects like wasps and hornets that also have that ability, that tend to be the ones that can give our bees a bad reputation. And so we do highlight that as well. A lot of education about the bees, how they make that honey, and then the differences between the many different species. I mean, in Michigan alone, we have over 460 different species of bees. And so it's important to talk about that large group of bees, the diversity of these bees, and also to learn more about their temperaments and some misunderstandings that we have about them.
And education is so important. It's such a big factor in what you do at Bees in the D. And so you're able to now connect that to adults in our community, to their families in our community through honey, and teach them about the honeybee and really the many different ways beyond just those hives and that honey that the bees impact our community. People may not understand that, Brian, so can you highlight for us just some of the ways beyond these hives and producing honey here locally in Greater West Bloomfield that something like the honeybee can impact our local ecosystem directly?
Yeah, definitely. Bees are incredible pollinators. And in order for plants to go to seed or fruit, those plants that you maybe put in your backyard, in your garden, or at the local farm, they need pollination. And if the bees aren't pollinating them, we won't get those fruits. We won't get those vegetables. And so they are important to the ecosystem for us in our food industry, but also the ecosystem, the wild ecosystem. They are pollinating a lot of the berries and trees and other plants that other life depends on. So they really are an important part of that food chain, right at the base of the food chain, where the plants are, to make sure that those plants can go to seed or to fruit.
The Honey Sommelier event with West Bloomfield Parks and Bees in the D is coming up this weekend, Saturday, November 15th, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Marshbank Park. That's on Hiller Road in West Bloomfield. Registration is still open, but those seats are going fast. You're going to want to register as soon as possible on wbparks.org. And of course, you can also go to beesinthed.com for more information on events with Bees in the D and educational materials about honeybees and more all throughout our community, all throughout the year. Brian, I'd imagine too, as you are having this event and you're tasting all this honey, having those experts from Bees in the D to open up the story a little more enhances the experience for people that are going there to taste what's hopefully some really tasty honey, but maybe get a little bit of a story too.
Yeah, and what we love about this event is not only its uniqueness, but it's very intimate. We limit the amount of people that are a part of it. So like you said, the tickets are going fast. There's not many tickets that are out there because we want to keep it more intimate. Because it helps with that experience. It allows you to dig a little bit deeper. And then we also bring in some incredible little mini charcuteries from our friends at Time and Honey that you get to then use to experiment to see how some of these different flavored honeys maybe accent different foods that we have and how we can maybe use it at home in our cooking or to enhance some of our recipes. So it's a lot of fun. It's very unique experience. And the people that have come always walk away just feeling like it was a really fun night.
And this is not the first time, Brian, that this event has happened in West Bloomfield in recent years, but the last couple times, last year and this year specifically, it's at Marshbank Park. Why was it important for you and, of course, for our friends at West Bloomfield Parks to put this event right smack in the middle of Marshbank Park?
You know, not only is it a beautiful setting, we get to be in the little lodge there, and so it's a wonderful feel, again, that intimacy. But what I love about the Marshbank Parks is there's so many of those native floral around there. It's not far from where our hives are in West Bloomfield, and it just shows that importance and partnership. And we were so pleased with the response that we got last year with the Honey Sommelier that we were like, we have to do it again because it was so much fun. And we've had a lot of people asking about it. So it's fun to be right there in West Bloomfield.
What message do you hope people take away from something like this? They go there, they learn about the honey, they enjoy the honey, maybe they think about buying some more of this locally produced, locally sourced, and sold honey in our community. But there's a more important message too. So what do you hope of all things that people that attend the Honey Sommelier event on November 15th take away from that?
Well, I kind of said it, that there's a story behind every drop of honey. And there's also a lot of work that goes behind every drop of honey by those honeybees, and the importance of these pollinators to our ecosystem and to our food industry. And so I hope people walk away with that, but I hope they also walk away just with in awe, which they usually are, at the diversity of honey and the diversity of flavors and the uniqueness and complexities that goes into just one jar of honey.
More information, beesinthed.com, or register right now before time runs out, before those spaces are no longer open. WBparks.org. The event's coming up quick, Saturday, November 15th at Marshbank Park, the Honey Sommelier Tasting Event with Bees in the D. Brian, you have mentioned a couple of times your hives here in West Bloomfield. They're very nearby. People may not even know as they're driving by or walking by them that they're nearby a close and active beehive. Where are some of your hives here in our community?
In West Bloomfield, we're at Carner Farm, where the dog park is, where the community garden is. I mean, what a fit.
Yeah.
The community garden is getting direct results of that pollination from the hives that are there. And it's also a very beautiful setting with a lot of the native plants and landscape there as well.
And it's a great location to go take your family out and enjoy a little bit of nature in our community. And the bees are working hard there with their family all throughout the season as well. Brian, before we let you go, anything else people should know about this particular event happening in West Bloomfield Township this weekend, or other things coming down the pike from Bees in the D?
No, it's just, I love our partnership with West Bloomfield Parks. And this is one of the events that we can do on kind of these off months as the bees are going a little bit more dormant in their hives. But come spring, we do those hive tours, which is a really popular there at Carner Farms. And that you get to suit up, you get to go into the hives. So be watching for that as well, as that's a very popular event that you could be a part of as well.
And just before I let you go, Brian Peterson-Rose, founder of Bees in the D, with us on the Splash Live, the Honey Sommeliers event happening this weekend at Marshbank Park. You can register on WBparks.org. Brian, it is kind of the off season for the bees, but a lot is done during this season to make sure that they have a fruitful spring and summer when they're at their most active and hardworking. So if people in the community want to get involved, they want to help our local bees, and they want to help Bees in the D, what are the best ways they can get involved today?
It's getting a little late for this, but actually the weather's supposed to warm up a little bit. That snow maybe made us think it's a little too late, but plant native. This is a fall time is a great time to be able to plant some of the native plants that help not just the honeybees, but all of our native bees. The other thing that they can do is also always support local beekeepers. They are working hard. Go to that farmer's market, buy honey from them, buy local. That really helps. Even buy local from our farmers. That helps out a lot as well, because our farmers are also helping our pollinators by putting a lot of resources out there for them.
Just some of those easy steps you can take every single day to help our pollinators, like our bees, and help organizations like Bees in the D. Brian, thank you as always for joining us.
It's always a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing some of you at the Honey Sommelier event. And I do want to let you know that we just bottled it up yesterday at Detroit City Distillery. We will have some of our barrel-aged honey, bourbon honey at this tasting as well, which is always a favorite.
And a tough get also, so even more rarities available for you at the Honey Sommelier Tasting Event. Once again, Saturday, November 15th, 6 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. That will be happening on Hiller Road in West Bloomfield at Marshbank Park under the pavilion. Don't worry, you're not going to get cold. You're not going to be outside. A warm, cozy environment with some very tasty honey, all in support of our local hives here in West Bloomfield and throughout Metro Detroit with our good friends over at Bees in the D. Always appreciate Brian Peterson-Rose joining us on the program. To register for that event, WBparks.org, and to learn more about Bees in the D, their website is beesinthed.com. The holidays are almost here and close to home. The giving season is always underway in Greater West Bloomfield. Every single year, West Bloomfield's optimists make it their mission to provide a fruitful holiday season to families that may not otherwise be able to enjoy the gifts and the cheer that we often take for granted. That is where their Holiday Happiness fundraising campaign comes into play. It's already underway. It needs your help, and it's a great way to get involved, give back, and help your neighbors. I recently spoke to Terry Giannetti from the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield to learn more about this year's campaign. Terry, thank you for being with us today.
Good morning. Nice to be here with you.
Yeah, good to have you on to talk about this because it's a big effort for your team and for your club each and every year to put this forth. And it starts early. It starts well over a month out to make sure that when the big holidays do come around at the end of the year, these families that you're helping out are able to have a seamless, happy, and most importantly, fun, memorable celebration of the holidays. Give us some insight on what inspired the Holiday Happiness fundraiser for the Optimist Club.
Well, it's over 10 years old, and before I joined the West Bloomfield Optimist Club, they were sponsoring a party and giving families similar things at the party. And then somewhere in there, it changed, and not the giving, not helping families, but how it was distributed, how everything was distributed. And so right now, we do a lot of prep work, raise money, get our baskets ready, and get things all in place, have teams ready to go, and then we distribute the baskets to families at the West Bloomfield Fire Department on Maple. And Chief Flynn he and his crew have it all organized for us. The cars go through the garage part of the fire department, and everything is organized. There are a few lines, and people pick up their wonderful gifts.
And so, Terry, how does this fundraiser and this effort, which goes beyond just the fundraising, ultimately support these children and these families when the holidays roll around?
That's the absolutely exciting part. We raise enough money to have each family receive a basket of goodies. But it's really personal, because it's not only meals that they get, and canned goods and turkey and everything they need for some meals during the holiday season. But we make sure we work with the West Bloomfield schools and privately find families that are in need for whatever reason. It could be they're in need, they lost a job, whatever their situation is, we confidentially find out who these families are, and then they are contacted with the information to come and get them their gifts. And so we know their jacket sizes, and we make sure I love this part, is getting warm jackets for kids, and gift cards, and toys appropriate to their age. So it's very personalized, and we do some work with the Jacket Club of Kego Harbor, and so it's a great opportunity. And when you hand them all these gifts, the looks on their faces and the tears and the smiles are worth every minute.
And that's a really important point that you brought up, how lucky and how fortunate we are to have two clubs in the greater West Bloomfield area that do take the idea of holiday fundraising, providing gifts and trinkets of the holidays to individual families or to individual people that is personalized, because that's not something you get in every single community, and it adds a very different and even more personal element to this fundraising effort, because the funds that you're raising, the items that you're collecting, they are of absolute need to these families in our community. And when they do receive these gifts from their neighbors in greater West Bloomfield, how does that add another element of care to what they're receiving and warm their hearts even more at that particular time of the year?
Could you explain that question a little bit more? I wasn't quite sure what
Sure.
answer.
So there's a personal nature to it, because these gifts, these boxes, these collections that you're providing to these families are individually tailored to their specific needs from
Correct.
people in their community. So as they do collect this, does that add an added sense of care from that those families then feel as they're taking on these items that are being generously given to them by their neighbors?
Definitely, definitely. And they also know when we do a lot of the PR and come in all the details, they also know that people have put time in before the actual distribution date, which is December 21st is the distribution date. The December 13th is wrapping day, and that's when people that are in the community or relatives of ours come together and wrap things. And it's extremely organized because you have to make sure you're giving the unique size and the desire of a certain toy. We have to make sure nothing gets mixed up. And so they know there's a lot of community work that goes in. And I think that makes it even extra special. It's not just the Optimist members, it's additional people in the community.
Terry Giannetti is the outgoing president from 2024-2025 of the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield and plays a big role in their holiday happiness fundraising as they provide much needed gifts and items to families in the greater West Bloomfield area each and every holiday season. Terry, you mentioned just a few moments ago partnerships with organizations like the Jacket Club of Keagle Harbor. That's just one of the many different groups and organizations that do partner in this fundraising effort from the Optimists here in West Bloomfield. How important is partnership in making this effort happen? Because it's no small undertaking.
We value anybody that can help, anyone. We value those people so much. And, if you read some of the research, especially if you yourself are going through a hard time, the best thing you can do is reach out to others. It is just the best feeling that you get back. And many of these people join because either someone has helped them or in their lifetime, they really realize that the best thing we can do is to give to others. And it's just, there's no way to explain the feeling unless you're there part of the wrapping day or the distribution day, and then you talk to the people, those who are distributing. They make comments such as, "I can't believe you're doing this." Not just the person going up to the car, but every comment they make is there are tears. There are, "This is amazing. I can't believe you're doing this, and we thank you a million times." And it's such a group effort. And the local businesses who cannot be there those days that have contributed also are very much appreciated. And we're attempting to give every business that contributed is something they can put on their wall so that people that come into their business know that they do more than provide a service and a business. They help the community.
You can find more information on holiday happiness and other fundraising efforts through the West Bloomfield Optimists on their website, westbloomfieldoptimist.org, or follow them on Facebook at West Bloomfield Optimist and on Instagram at WB Optimist Club. Terry Giannetti is with us as they prepare for their holiday happiness fundraising efforts. Obviously, the donations of both items and also funds are vitally important to making this effort happen every year. But Terry, that's not the only way that people can get involved. So if they want to get involved in this effort, especially as we get closer to the holidays, what are some other ways that people can get into this?
We had someone from the east side open up their pantry and bring things over to this side of town. That was unexpected. And of course, we need people to help out on wrapping day, which is December 13th at the fire station on Maple, and it's from 11 to 1 o'clock. You can come for the whole time. You can come for a portion of the time. People that volunteer, I sometimes have, for example, last year we had some friends that brought their kids to rap, and it taught, it's another teaching for the kids in their own family. And these were teenagers, but we also had some younger kids that came and helped, and that's very valuable.
More information. Please continue.
Last year, one of the dads who came and helped rap has said, I don't remember what day of the week it was, but I think it was a Friday. And he said, if you do this on a weekend, then I can bring my own kids to rap, which teaches them the importance of giving. And we did change it this year to make sure that most of the kids aren't in school. And we'll just keep adjusting and taking suggestions so that we can include the families that are giving and the families that are receiving and the community. And I can't tell you how proud I am of this effort and everybody that has helped. The chairperson is one of our members, and Dawn is organizing and putting things on Facebook. The new president coming in, Jenny, has been involved year after year, and the board. The West Bloomfield board. I can't thank them enough.
Well, Terry, before we let you go, I want to give you one final opportunity to explain how something like this fits into the mold of what the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield is all about. We've got about 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds then. It's kids. Our focus is kids, doing things for them. We work with the West Bloomfield Parks and Rec to provide activities. The focus is always kids. And if you do become a member, if you think about becoming a member, just go on our site, because we meet twice a month and we have special speakers that address the things that are going on in the community and the world. And I could go on, but we'd love to see more members that you can be as active as you want to be.
You can find more information on westbloomfieldoptimist.org. Terry, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks much.
More information on the Holiday Happiness fundraiser from the West Bloomfield Optimist Club can be found on westbloomfieldoptimist.org, or follow them on Facebook at West Bloomfield Optimist and Instagram at WB Optimist Club for more events in the future, ways you can get involved, and of course to help out with their Holiday Happiness fundraiser and gift donation drive as well. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. When we come back, AI is taking over in your day-to-day life at work, at home, as you research, as you're looking for new projects to grow in your home and in your community. Now it also could have an impact on your personal information. We'll talk to the West Bloomfield Police Department with some very helpful advice to protect your information as AI becomes more prevalent in our community. That's coming up next. Stay with us live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. What people are watching in Kego Harbor. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy, and if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
Hello, my name is Danya Bazzi. I'm the superintendent of West Bloomfield School District. I want to congratulate Civic Center TV on hitting the amazing milestone of 1 million viewers. Your involvement in our community doesn't go unnoticed. We thank you for keeping our residents and community engaged in the latest and greatest news and information. I'm Danya Bazzi, and I'm proud to be 1 in a million.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Live, local, social, welcome back to The Splash Live on Civic Center TV. I'm Tyler Keefe, hosting the program today, welcoming you back to our show and inviting you to follow us on social media to keep up to date with everything happening in Greater West Bloomfield all throughout the week. You'll see clips from this program all across our social media all week and weekend. Civic Center TV 15 is our handle on Facebook. Everywhere else, X, Instagram, and on YouTube. Find us on those outlets at Civic Center TV. And of course, we're always on civiccentertv.com. A great place to go to watch some of our recent programming, including the annual Heroes Appreciation Breakfast celebrating our veterans that will be playing all throughout the day on Tuesday as we celebrate Veterans Day, with the exception, of course, of our live programming here on the Splash Live and meeting replays from the Township Board's meeting tonight on Civic Center TV. Artificial intelligence is making its way into everyday life, including here in Greater West Bloomfield. Whether it's you looking for quick answers from an outlet like ChatGPT, or computer models trying to predict the Lions game results so that you can be ready and have facts for when you're debating your family that's rooting for the other team, or even scammers who are trying to weasel their way into your personal information through emails or even through something as simple as a phone call. Like always, new technology means you need to learn new strategies to keep your personal information safe. That's why I sat down recently with West Bloomfield Police Detective Phil Pacheco, who's on the forefront of this in our community, investigating how AI is impacting scammers and impacting consumers like you. And he gave me some helpful advice to help people like you in our community keep their information safe as AI makes a new wrinkle for scam artists in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond. Detective Pacheco, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, good morning.
Glad to have you on to talk about this. Good morning to you as well. It's an important topic, certainly on the minds of a lot of people in our community as AI becomes more ubiquitous from a technological standpoint with everyday people in our community. It also becomes even more advanced with scammers. At this time, what are some of the key points people need to be looking out for? What are some of the ways that scammers are using AI to target everyday people here in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond?
What we've seen recently over the past couple of years is that, really the most vulnerable people in our community, which those are, the elderly. We do have a large elderly population. They can be very easily fooled by this. So one thing that we're seeing that's being used by criminals to, scam the elderly or trick them is they'll receive a phone call, and they are so adamant that this sounded just like my grandson, my son, my daughter, whoever. This sounded just like them, and they needed help. They needed money. I needed to bond them out of jail. And we've had our residents here lose close to $100,000 and everything in between because they do fall victim to this.
And so what are some of those key ways that people can tell the difference between this is really my son, my daughter, my grandchild, a close friend, whomever it may be in their life, versus someone using technology to spoof a very similar way of speaking?
Well, I think it starts with, if you do have a elderly family member, it just starts with education. And I think the easiest thing that you can do and implement is some kind of like safe word, like a code word. But first educating them on like this extremely urgent phone call that they may get when, hey, I need money right now, this needs to happen. Being able to recognize that is step one, like that's a little off. And then step two would be, okay, what is the code word for this? And it could, could be anything unique to your family. And, obviously if it is your family, they're going to know that code word. If it's not, then you know that you're, likely being attempted to be victimized at that time.
And these are scams that are just starting to be more on the rise, more commonplace across many communities. They target people that are typically in elder populations, may not be as technologically savvy, and may not have the media literacy that others in younger populations have. But that doesn't mean that people in younger demographics aren't also susceptible to this. Detective Pacheco, usually that manifests itself in the way of misinformation or disinformation, especially on social media. What are some of the common ways that that is manifested nowadays?
With the ability to take somebody's face, like we all love posting pictures of our family, our children, things that we do that we share with the people that we know and love on social media. But the technology exists to take that person's face and use it in a criminal way. It could be for extortion. It could be for very other, horrible activities, especially when it comes to a minor or a child. So you just need to be careful what you're putting out there. And I think educating yourself on what somebody can do, with your face, with your voice, things like that is step one for every family. You need to talk about this as a family because it is real and it is happening.
And it goes back to some of those privacy settings that you really want to be mindful of. Who you're also bringing into some of these social media can also play a big impact in that. Do you know this person? Do they look familiar to you? If not, probably shouldn't have access to your information, especially now with the advent of AI, and it's certainly going to get a lot more advanced as time goes on. Detective Phil Pacheco is with us from the West Bloomfield Police Department. More helpful advice and safety information from our local PD can be found on Facebook at West Bloomfield PD. Detective Pacheco, from the law enforcement standpoint, what new maybe training methods are being brought in or may be employed soon for our local departments like yours to help also counteract some of these negative effects that AI may be having on communities like West Bloomfield?
It's funny, I was just looking at that today, like, hey, what's available? Companies are putting this training out for law enforcement. Really, what I found was how law enforcement can use AI to, for administrative purposes or even down to report writing to make the job easier, which, agree with it or not, it's there, it's happening. I think that, I guess to answer your question, I'm not really aware of any training that exists right now or that I've seen recently that would, give us some kind of investigative tools to investigate this better. I think that we here at this police department and the investigators that we have here in the Detective Bureau, we're all pretty aware of how this stuff works. We're younger, we grew up with this, we know kind of what the future holds for AI. And so I'm going to keep an eye out, but yeah, I don't know of anything right now.
Yeah, still early on with this becoming more easily accessible for people across all different sectors, whether it be businesses, whether it be everyday citizens like you and I, or it be these scammers that tend to be a little bit more on the cutting edge of these technologies and figure out how to do some of these scams early on before law enforcement and everybody else catches up to them, and then it all evens out relatively quickly. Detective Pacheco, with all of that being said, if someone does believe that they've taken your advice from today or other advice that they found about counteracting some of these scams that may arise or misinformation campaigns that may arise with the advent of more advanced AI, should they believe that they've fallen victim to that or they've been targeted by AI, what steps can they take with their local police department to report that and maybe begin some sort of investigation into who may be behind it?
A lot of times with these cases, time is of the essence. You have to report it immediately. A lot of people, start off with like, I'm really sorry to bother you with this, this has happened to me. But at the end of the day, we're here to serve the public. If it's important to you, it's important to us. And we want to help you. That's why we exist. And you need to report, anything to us right away. If you think you're being victimized or anything like that, please do it right away. because in a lot of these situations, especially as it pertains to money and the different forms that we've seen people here in West Bloomfield send that money, time is of the essence. You need to report it to us right away so that we can start the investigation and hopefully maybe seize the funds and try to get those back to you to make you whole as part of the investigation. Certainly, we don't exist just to recover your money. At the end of the day, we'd like to get somebody criminally charged for what they've done to you. But again, report it to us right away. If your family member is elderly, it's awesome if you can bring them in and help explain kind of what happened so that we can get on our right way.
More information on West Bloomfield PD on Facebook. You can also go to wbtownship.org and contact the police department by their non-emergency number if you need additional advice on this or other matters that may affect you here in the greater West Bloomfield area. Detective Pacheco, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Important things to think about as AI becomes more prevalent in day-to-day life. It's a new technology. It's growing fast, which means it's only going to get more involved in our society as time goes on. More helpful advice and safety information always available from the West Bloomfield Police Department. Visit them on Facebook at West Bloomfield PD. That's our show. I want to remind you that television that's close to home is always online on civiccentertv.com and all across our social media. Big thank you to our crew at Master Control for making today's show possible, and of course to you for joining in. For our entire team at Civic Center TV, I'm Tyler Kieft. Thanks for tuning in to The Splash Live.